tithe is meant to be paid. The Bible said it. But it's not that it is compulsory. Just as I said there, if you don't pay your tithe, you have committed sin. Or somebody will curse you for not paying your tithe. But in the Catholic Church, it is not like that. People pay their tithe to the church, not to the priest. When you pay your tithe to the church uses it in church development and also meeting the needs of the poor. So as leaders, they should not be leaders for themselves, but for the people that they lead. The citizens, the masses, who even elected them into that position to represent them. But the problem now is that our politicians are now representing themselves. I remember when we were children growing up, if you hear that a governor is coming, let's say around this place, everybody will be excited. You know, everybody will come out on the road to wait to see the governor, to wave. You'll be waving and, you know, but these days, say that even president is passing here. Nobody cares. People will be inside their house doing what they are doing. Are you a shepherd that is so much interested in your person? Or are you a shepherd that is out there to care for the sheep entrusted into you? Some parents are even the cause of some of these problems, because they want quick money, or they want to be influential, and when they see their children bringing money anyhow, they may not even ask question. Where is this money coming from? Some parents don't even ask their children the kind of job they are doing. They are just interested in the money they are bringing. Just interested in the money they are bringing.
There was a time that the issue of tithe became so very conversant and became popular, and there's one daddy priest that came out to say, oh, tithe is not something that anybody should pay, that the biblical perspective of tithe, is, according to the Old Testament, is that you take it to your church every 33 years, you throw a feast, you eat, you drink, you enjoy yourself and all that. But of course, in the New Testament, it says that we should bring it to the house of God and we should give it to the Levite. That because the Levite don't have anything to do with what we are doing. We are into business, we can run a business, but the Levites are people like you in the church who don't have any business. So, sir, would you say the tithe is right to be paid? And who can be classified as a Levite? Because I believe that there's Levite in Catholic, there's Levite in Anglican, there's Levite in Celestial Church, there's Levite in Ejigbo and Seraphu, but these other churches that are into school, into aviation, into businesses, I don't see them as Levite. But how will you define this tithe? Is it good to pay? And who should we give to? Because they said the tithe is also for the poor, the widow, the visitor, and the Levite.
My brother, as the Bible, says, tithe is meant to be paid. The Bible said it. But it's not that it is compulsory. Just as I said there, if you don't pay your tithe, you have committed sin. Or somebody will curse you for not paying your tithe.
So General Overseer said if you don't pay, you won't go to heaven. Sir.
And restitute your ways with your congregation. Make it clear to them. Anyone who is not paying his tithe is not going to heaven. Full stop.
That's what I'm saying. It's the same thing I'm just saying. But in the Catholic Church, it is not like that. People pay their tithe to the church, not to the priest. When you pay your tithe to the church uses it in church development and also meeting the needs of the poor. Do you understand? Meeting also the needs of the poor. You are not paying to the priest. Yeah, exactly. You are paying to the church, and the church uses it, as I mentioned, developing the church and taking care of the needy and the poor. Yeah.
So are you saying that the problem is that it's misapplication of interest?
Of course, yes. And that's just it.
Because when you look at those churches, they one-man business empires. So it's like you're paying.
Of course, now
paying the tithe.
Just like you can't say now if you pay your tithe, it's going into my pocket. It's not going into my pocket. It's going to the church. It's not even going to the bishop's pocket, but to the church, and you use it in church maintenance. But if it is one man's church, definitely the church goes into your pocket as the owner of the church. And that's it.
Because we're in an era whereby, look at the Catholic Church now. The whole world is so happy. 2 years ago, the Pope was given a Lamborghini car, and he said, please sell it out and give the money to the poor. But we have a lot of bishops now. They keep acquiring the first, second, third, fifth jet, and they're even acquiring chopper. A GO acquired the chopper of $65 million last year in the thick of the corona. But even before the corona, the Pope said, give my Lamborghini to the charity, sell it and give the money out. And even this same Pope, I was in my hotel room in Abuja, is it some months ago? I think he went to Iraq and he flew at Alitalia. He has been flying on it. So how did you people get it in the Catholic Church? And will you say that should be the what can I call it, the basis for good Christianity?
Have you heard of any bishop having a private jet in the Catholic Church?
No, sir.
Or any priest?
No, sir.
That's just the answer. You have never had it. And nobody does that. If the Pope could fly with a public jet, and that is the life of the Catholic pastors, and that is it.
I want to ask you that, what makes the Catholic Church a different church from other church? Apart from all these things we have noticed, why is the Catholic so different? What are the things that make it a unique church?
Number one, the Catholic Church is not a one-man church, but is a church instituted by Jesus Christ himself. Number two, it's only in the Catholic Church that you can see the celebration of sacraments. And that's why you can see that some other churches now, they are imitating the Catholic Church when it comes to that. Now, like, for instance, the sacrament of the Eucharist now. So some churches now are imitating us, calling their own a communion service and all the rest of them.
Holy communion or blue communion.
Whichever one, And again, when you come to the Catholic Church, in our worship, there is always an order. Everything is very systematic. And which is being followed. The way you see it here is the way you see it there, is the way you see it every other place. Simultaneously in every Catholic church. Do you understand? So our own things are, well ordered, unlike these other churches.
And I want to ask that for a long time, a lot of people have been saying, maybe there could be the possibility that a black pope will emerge one day, sir. Do you have any idea that one day maybe a black pope? I think Father Arize was close to it. How many years ago? Almost 10 years ago. But do you have that belief that one day maybe we could have somebody from Africa that could emerge And that's another issue that a lot of people want to know about the Catholic Church.
Well, I cannot say anything about that, because I know that in choosing Pope, everything we believe works according to the mind of God. So whether white or whether black, so I cannot really say, because I'm not in God's mind to determine whether black Pope will emerge one day or something like that. Yeah, exactly.
So I want to take you to one very famous passage in the Bible, and I want to ask you that what does it tells you, and how will you define it? That is Luke 18 verse 8, and it's very unique. The passage says, I tell you, he will see that they get justice, and quickly. However, when the Son of Man comes, will he find faith on the earth? So when you look at this business-oriented churches whereby the GO is firing pastors for not meeting up targets, and the GO is bringing his son to take over after his reign, or when he dies, the wife takes over, and there's private jet, horrific drive to have more private jet than the next GO and all that. What does this passage tell you? That if the Son of Man comes, will he find faith? Do you think that we are eroding the doctrine of the church in present-day environment?
My brother, the Bible says, do not judge nor condemn. Every judgment or condemnation is left for God. So I'm not the one to determine. But definitely what we must have in mind is that on the last day, God is going to pay every one of us according to what our conduct deserves. If you do good, definitely he will pay you with good things, no matter who you are and what you are. And of course, if you do bad, because any seed we sow here on earth, that is what we are going to reap. So whether God will find any faith or not, I'm not the one to determine that. So everything is left for God.
Let me also ask you, in most of the church today now, you see men of God, they touch the head of somebody and the person is falling down. A man will just do his hand like this, and a lot of people will fall in, just take it. So why does that not happen in the Catholic? I mean, don't you do the miracle that make people to fall and roll on the floor? And do you think this also is Spirit of God? Do you think it's in tandem with the healing process of our Lord Jesus Christ?
My brother, not that it doesn't happen in the Catholic Church, but the way it happens in the Catholic Church is not the way it happens in other churches. You know that people are gifted, even priests are gifted in their various ways. Individually. When there is a prayer going on and, the Spirit moves you, you are being touched, moved by the Spirit, nobody needs to come and touch you. Then we can hardly see a Catholic priest touching somebody or pushing somebody, to fall or something.
Or hitting the heads.
Nobody does that in the Catholic Church. But I don't know. Don't be surprised that most times some of these things are planned. Some of these things are planned so that you can win the admiration of the people and win people's hearts, so that they will know that this is a powerful man of God. When the Spirit in the Catholic Church, when there is prayer and you are being moved by the Spirit, you see, the Spirit moves in any way it likes. So, but not that the way it happens in other churches. No.
I mean, somebody even making people to fall like 7 times and doing it like this. The person is falling, the person is falling. Or there's another one where the hand, her hand was healed like 4 pastors. The hand we heal. Another church we use her. Another church we use her. We call it the Okafor miracle strategy.
That's why I say that don't be surprised that some of these things are planned. And that's it.
But what really gets you mad about Christianity today, when you look at the whole thing as a priest and a holy priest, when you look at it and you hear about it on the radio, on the TV, and even reading the newspaper, what gets you so sad? And how do you think it can be changed generally?
My brother, is actually, sounds so strange. And that's why I said I don't really know where we are heading to as far as church is concerned. I think the only way to salvage this situation is, conscientizing the people, educating the people, letting the people know the truth. Do you understand? Yeah. Letting the people know the truth, because I believe that by the time they know the truth and realize what the truth is all about, maybe there may be a change. There may be a change.
If you have your way now and you find yourself in a hall, I have 1,000 people, 1,000 Nigerian general overseers, pastor, and all the rest, and you are holding the mic, what is going to be your message to them? I mean, if you have found yourself in a ballroom now, and you have people like David Oyedepo, people like Enokadeja Adeboye, people like Chris Oyakhilome, people like the one that call himself Joshua Suleiman, and a lot of those characters that the private jet bigots and all that. What's going to be your message to them as a priest?
Definitely, I will let them understand, first and foremost, our duties as men of God. What is expected of us as men of God. And also to ask ourselves as individuals, no matter the denomination you belong to, are you truly a shepherd that is leading the people to a greener pasture? Are you a pastor or a shepherd that is teaching the people the truth? Are you a shepherd that is so much interested in your person? Or are you a shepherd that is out there to care for the sheep entrusted into you? Because I believe by the time we understand what it means to be a shepherd, then everything will definitely be put into the right path. And if I, a priest, don't understand what it means to be a priest, at least that's what we generally bring about all these things we are just mentioning here. So it's just for us to understand who we are and what is expected of us as men of God. So I think I will challenge every one of them there to go into himself and ask himself a very important question, as I have said: am I a true man of God? Thank you.
This question brings me follow-up question before we round up to the question of Jesus in the Bible. You look at the book of Mark, book of even up to Luke, you see that Jesus fed 5,000 people after the evangelism. He said these people will not go home because they are weak. And they said, sir, there is no food, there is nothing. He said, what do we have? So we have just 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. And he gave them food. But today now, it appears the reverse is the case. Bishops are now asking for more. It's like 5,000 is now feeding one bishop, feeding one pastor, feeding one general overseer. Even during the COVID in Nigeria, pastors didn't see the reason why they should release monies that are in their care to take care of people that don't have jobs, that are in the houses or they are sedented at home. Instead, they were even telling them, people like Pastor Ashimolo was telling them, please pay online. Even our Bishop Oyedepo here in North, I was begging, please pay online. So, what do you think these people need to know about the peculiarity of Jesus' gospel, especially as related to feeding the flocks instead of taking from them?
My brother, everything is based on the individual. And you know that this spirit of greed is really causing a lot, even among the men of God. If I may give an example, an instance, I remember during the time of COVID, and that's why I said everything is based on the individual. I can remember that I fed almost the community twice. I was begging for food. The food I was begging for was for the people to eat. That even at the time, I had nothing even in my house to eat. Both Muslims, non-Catholics, we fed them twice. Over 1,000 people in that community. Over 1,000 people. And even it was people that were even beating me. Father, what are you going to? I said, let us feed the people first. That even if it is gari, let us drink. So you see, it's based on personality. And then realizing who you are and what is expected of you as a man of God. Just like a shepherd. A shepherd, first and foremost, will feed him sheep before feeding himself. But just as I said, you see, this issue of greed, accumulation of wealth, is now influencing even the women of God. And that is where the problem is coming from. That is where the problem is coming from. We are no longer contented with what we have. We want to accumulate and accumulate and accumulate. And my question has always been, all these things for what? All these things for what? Just like a priest now, if you intend of accumulating, who are going to take care of all these things when you die? You don't have a wife, you don't have a child, your children, or something like that. So I think the best thing for you is that even no matter with what you have, you also extend your charity to people around, especially the less privileged, than asking them to give you and give you and give you. Yes, just like the priesthood, it is the truth. That's why, we priests, we don't have any other work. You understand? Our work is what we are doing, caring for the souls of the people, and we depend our life on the charity of the people. We depend our life on the charity of the people, and that is it. But not depending on their charity, now we are not imposing, hardship on them, because they are to take care of you, just like what we see in the other churches.
When you started the interview, you said that a shepherd, his purpose is to care, to guide, to direct, and to feed. Yeah. But sir, when the chief shepherd now said, I employ you as pastor, then after a few months, you are not making money, I sack you and leave the dormitory, the vicarage, with immediate effect. What does that tell you? And do you think this is godly? I mean, the worldly system, we even say we give you 6 months, but they say leave the dormitory with immediate effect because you have not done enough to hit the target. I mean, sir, is it good that the church should also be giving targets in this modern age?
How can you give a church target? Is the church a money-making venture? You see, it's just like what I said earlier. We have deviated from our priority of, caring for souls to caring for whatever I don't understand. That is just the problem. Because if the churches center on caring for their souls, I don't think that all these things will come up. So that's just it.
So it's also good, before I know that, the church you started, God called you, you say God called you. Then when you discover that you are going to 70, you now bring your son that studied biology, University of Atlanta or University of Belford, you bring him to come and become the pastor. When you know that you have people that have grown with you in that ministry, is it also biblical?
Can you say that God calls such a person?
I don't think so, sir.
Because you can see that such a person is a self-acclaimed pastor. And after founding your church, tell me, if you are in that situation, would you allow anybody to come and take over the church you formed yourself?
I don't think so, sir.
Well, that's the issue. Of course, maybe after you struggled, you suffered to establish a church, and at the end, somebody will just come and take over from you. No, now. Definitely, if you have a son, even if you don't have a son, they will look for somebody from their lineage to come and take over the church. Do you understand? That's it. That's the thing. Just like as I'm here now, if I'm to live here, will I call somebody to come and take over from me?
No, sir.
Of course, I cannot.
No, sir.
I'm not even the one that posted myself here. So that's where you can also see the difference between Catholic Church and other churches.
Maybe we can call it the ordinary churches. The woman.
It's a church. I don't know.
People are rushing in there.
I can't say.
Like loose beds. So honestly, another question I want to ask you is that why is it the Catholic so democratic? I've learned that in the Catholic, the people, the church that is next to Catholic in democracy, to me, is the Four Square Church, whereby you could tell your pastor that you have done first time, second time, go. So how democratic is the Catholic? Because I learned here, even the church could say they don't want their priest again, and the priest will be relocated to another state or to another country. So why is the Catholic like that? So democratic and so, inspiring. How
do you mean that the people saying they don't want the priest again? I don't understand.
No, what I'm saying is that if the people could really say, this is the kind of priest we want, or they have a voice in who rules them, who lead them.
My brother, it's not like that in the Catholic Church. Okay, sir. Do you understand? It's not like that in the Catholic Church at all. So you are not the one to decide who the bishop sends anywhere. Okay. The bishop can decide to send anybody he chooses to. Okay. Do you understand? Okay. Based on his reasons too.
And his instincts.
And instincts, yeah, exactly.
Then why is the Catholic Church does not give room for testimony? In every church now they call you out, come and give testimony, or they even put it at the back of their booklet and they put Mrs. Emily E. You don't know the full name and all that. So why is the Catholic Church not too careful or too pertinent about giving testimonies?
You see, it depends on where and when. Because when it comes to Eucharistic celebration, it's not a time for giving testimonies. But when there are other programs in the church, maybe we have like a crusade or revival, or like we have the charismatic group that have their prayer, their prayers, and people somebody may say, I want to give testimony what God did for me and something like that. You can give the person opportunity to do that. But it's not done during the Eucharistic celebration. And that's why I told you, in the Catholic Church, there is always order. Things are well, streamlined. Not that the church is against testimony.
So what's the difference between the charismatic and the conservative Catholic? I mean, there's this charismatic, one of my friends say he goes to the charismatic arm. So what's the difference between the two, sir?
How do you mean charismatic and conservative?
They say the charismatic, the Catholic, is it charismatic? This charismatic arm, and there's the conservative, the old church.
There's nothing like that. Okay. You see, do you understand the meaning of charismatics?
You see, charismatic, I mean, maybe those that, the one that are hippie.
Everybody is charismatic. The word charism means what? A gift. I have my own gift. You have your own gift. He has his own gift. Just like that. Okay. And all these gifts are brought together.
Cool.
Exactly. For the common good. I may have the gift to teach. You may have the gift to sing. He may have the gift to prophesy. And all these gifts are to be brought together for the good of the church. So one cannot say that this one is charismatic than the other. Everything is just lack of, a kind of misinterpretation of the word charismatic. That's just the problem we are facing today. And we have always tried to educate the people to make them understand the meaning of this word charismatic. Just people will say this one is a charismatic priest because you shout, and the one that is so quiet, no, this one is not a charismatic priest, But you see, that's the mentality of our people these days. But which is very wrong. That's the mentality of the people. They may think that, a priest that, prays in a very quiet way and whatever, maybe God doesn't answer the prayer of that prayer, but the one that shouts and all the rest of them, but it's wrong. It's wrong.
So what other benefits do you have being a Catholic? I mean, what other benefits do people have? A lot of people have been watching you here and they say, okay, we want to join Catholic. We're tired of where we are. They've overtaxed us. Because right now, as I'm talking to you now, people are watching in London, in America, in Germany. And a lot of these people have stopped going to church because some of the churches they've gone to, especially this our Pentecostal church, fall and die churches and all that. They've put them in situations that they cannot even define. Some they've taken their land, they've taken their moral dignity, some they've taken their peace. So what are the benefits of anybody that decides to say, I want to be a Catholic?
The benefits of anybody that decides to be a Catholic. I don't know what you mean by the benefit.
Yes. Worshipping in the Catholic Church.
Spiritual benefit.
Spiritual benefits.
Material benefit.
Especially spiritual benefits.
Spiritual benefits.
Yes.
You know. Good. You see, there's always a lot of spiritual benefits. Not only belonging to a Catholic church, but I know for any authentic church. Then for the Catholic Church, one of the benefits is that, you know, the church, through the church's doctrine and teachings, you will definitely understand the truth and what it means to be a Christian. Because that's why if you come to the Catholic Church now, we have the catechism classes where we are being, you know, that education, basic education is being given on this journey of faith. When you come to the Catholic Church, even though they say that Catholic Church doesn't read Bible, who told you? When you look at the Eucharistic celebration we celebrate, if you follow it up, you see that everything, in fact, 95% of the whole thing comes from the Bible. And of course, the readings we do have during Mass, they come from the Bible. So I feel that the benefit is so much that if I begin to enumerate them, my brother, it may let it not be that maybe I'm trying to flag the flag of the Catholic Church, but at least there's a lot of benefit based on what I have really mentioned. You'll be able to, you know, discover what it means to be a Christian, and you will see yourself being put on the right path, the right channel. And there's always this benefit of spiritual growth based on the activities that we do have in the church. That one is very basic.
Let me also ask you, sir, that the only church I know again is a great church too. That is Celestial Church of Christ. We have our Holy Mary Day. But the Church Catholic, which is the oldest church in the world, as far as I'm concerned, also has Holy Mary. So what is the role of Mother Mary in the Catholic Church? I mean, you know, some of my friends are Catholic, and I wonder, why do we have this semblance, Celestial Church and Catholic Church? And I think the Pope even came in 1984 to see SBJ, late Papa SBJ Oshofa and all that. So what's the role of Holy Mother Mary in the Catholic Church?
You see, when you talk about the church, and the Catholic Church in particular, the church cannot do without our Mother Mary. Because our Mother Mary played a vital role in human salvation. For her to accept the message from God to be the mother of the Savior was a wonderful thing that our Mother Mary did. That she gave her fiat to the will of God was a very wonderful role she played. And that is why the church holds our Mother Mary to a high esteem. Even though people accuse the Catholic Church that we worship Mary, we don't worship Mary, but we give her the honor due to her because of who she is, the mother of the Savior, and for playing that important role
divine career
in the history of human salvation. Playing important role in the history of human salvation. So that's why we can't joke with her.
Let me ask you this funny question. If you come back to this world again, will you still like to be a Catholic priest?
Definitely.
Would you like to be a soldier or something?
No.
Or a sailor?
I would still like to be a Catholic priest.
Why, sir?
Sorry?
Why, sir?
How? Because as a Catholic priest, I'm very well fulfilled. You know, just like Jesus Christ, you know, who throughout his public ministry, you know, was attending to people, teaching, preaching, winning souls. In fact, I have fulfillment in doing that. I have fulfillment in doing that, touching the life of the people and all the rest of them. So I derive joy doing such apostolate, and that is why I would also like to be a Catholic priest, and I will continue to be.
Maybe you're one of those angels that left before I came back.
I don't know. I don't know.
Do you have any role models, sir? Someone that inspires you, sir? Who is a role model? I mean, some of us we say, oh, maybe Bill Clinton is a role model, or Nelson Mandela. For me, who is your role model, sir?
In fact, I would say my role model is Jesus Christ himself. That I'm sharing in his priesthood. Do you understand? Jesus Christ is really my role model. And that's why I told you that in my next life, I will still want to be a priest sharing in the priesthood of my role model, Jesus Christ, because he is the only one I always look up to.
Why did they call you Nwachinemere one?
That name. You see, remember you asked me some of the challenges I have really encountered in the course of my, you know, apostolate as a priest. And I told you that no matter what, there's nobody in this life that will not encounter one challenge or another. So in the course of my priestly work, some challenges have always emerged and something like that. And when they come like that, the way they will be solved is something that is always very surprising. And I look at it that all these solutions or way out, you know, used to come from God himself. That it is God's doing. It's not my own making. It's God's doing. So that Nwachinemere means somebody that God used to do for. So God used to do it for me.
And it's someone that God used to do for.
It's only God that does it for me. Do you understand? So he's only one that always show me the way out. Even at times when you'll just be thinking, what do I do? How do I go about this? The next thing we just say, Piam. That problem is solved.
Just like that.
And I always call on God. I always provide it. I always provide it. God, you know that the work I'm doing is not my work. It is your work. Unless you want me to be put to shame, or you want to be put to shame. You know, there's a kind of way you will pray to God, ask God for something. Before you know it, it's Piam. God will always find a way of solving that problem for you. And some of these problems I'm talking about, they are not just my personal problems. Maybe some challenges you meet in the parish, or maybe, and you are thinking of how do I solve this? How do I solve that? What do I do about this? And, you know, miraculously, you see, there will be a way out. So
that is Nwachinemere one. Not Nwachinemere one of Africa, or of Nigeria, of everywhere, of the world,
of everywhere, of everywhere. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So God has been so kind and so faithful, and I'm looking at it from what the promise I made to God on the day of my ordination. That God, since you have chosen me to be your priest, I will do my best and nothing but my best. And by the special grace of God, I will say that I have been doing that. Nobody can say that he is perfect, but I have been doing my best as I promised God. Thank you.
I want to ask you this question. If somebody just decide to buy you a private jet now, will you be able to drive it, or you commercialize it? What are you going to do with it? Someone say, take this private jet, sir.
I will simply tell the person, sell it and bring the money. And I will know what to do with the money. Because there are so many people who are hungry. There are so many places that the churches need to be developed. And just like in my parish here, and I'm looking for money now to build a chapel, which the people need very, very urgently. But now the money is not there. So if I'm looking for money now to build a chapel and somebody will say, oh, Father, I'm donating this private jet for you, I'll simply tell you, please, go and sell it and bring the money. And I know where to put the money. I know where to put the money, you know.
Just for the development of the work of God.
Work of God, exactly.
Just like the Pope said, soul is Lamborghini.
And that's my priority. That's my priority.
The Lamborghini was named after him. It was his private number. It was everything. But he said, sell it and give the money to the poor.
Exactly. Exactly. That's my priority. For the growth of the work of God. So if I have the money to do all the, that is, you know, to meet up, you know, with what I have in mind about the work of God, I will be happy about that. So somebody giving me a private jet when I have something more important to do. Even if I want to fly a private jet, if I'm in need of it, I will go to international airport. I mean local airport, go to wherever I want to go. Even if you want to fly outside Nigeria, just go there, pay your money and go, than having a private jet. Now what am I going to do with it?
Because you're going to be paying the landing costs, the flying costs, and the takeoff costs.
It will cost you a lot too. And that money will have been used to feed the poor and those who are hungry. And then you are giving the money to the government, who may not even do anything with it. So what is the sense? Yeah.
This is a unique one, sir. Do you have any favorite verse in the Bible or a favorite book that you read that changed your life?
Yeah, you see, this Matthew 7:7, ask and you shall receive. Seek and you shall find. Knock and the door shall be opened unto you. And I have always told people, instead of being discouraged or losing faith, when you go to that passage that Jesus said, ask and you shall receive. And he says that whatever you ask for in faith, you shall receive.
Say, ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be open to you. For everyone who asks, receive. He who seeks, find. And to him who knocks, the door will be open.
And I have always been receiving from God whenever I ask. And anytime I knock at his door, he opens. And that is why, like what I told you, based on the name Nwachinemere, if not that, I don't think it would have been possible. So I like that verse so much. And you know, I always tell people, instead of being discouraged or feel disappointed or whatever, just go down on your knees. Ask God whatever you wish in faith and trust, and God will do it for you. Because he says that anyone that put faith and trust in him shall never be disappointed. And God has never disappointed me because I always put that faith and trust in him, even in the midst of my challenges and all the rest of it. So the same thing I used to tell people, ask and you shall receive. Seek and you shall find. When you seek in the right way, you will always find a solution to your problem.
Talking about seeking in the right way, today now you see men of God, like one celestial shepherd, that will tell you that if you raise up your phone, you will get alerts that you don't need to just walk. Just raise up your phone, believe, and you will receive alert on your phone from unknown source. So is it possible for you to receive alert from unknown source without walking, sir?
How possible is that?
There's one shepherd that used to say that it's
just like telling somebody you are going to be maybe praying for somebody, telling the person you are going to build an upstay. From where? Where will that money come from? When you are not working and you are going to build an upstay. For you to build an upstay, are you not supposed to work to make money?
You don't have to work, sir.
Exactly. So what kind of prayer is that one?
You just say raise your phone, alert, say alert. Then you know the shepherd, you know.
My brother, these are the things we are just talking about. Not telling the people the truth. That's just the problem. Because if that is the case, now everybody in Nigeria will have been a millionaire or a billionaire.
They're using their phone and get
their phone. If you need money, you don't need to even go to work. Just like you are a journalist, Abi.
Yes, sir.
You don't need to do this work. Just if you need money, raise your phone and then you will get an alert. And you use the money to do whatever you want to do. But what kind of faith is that? So that's why we must be very careful. You know, because there are so many false prophets everywhere. And as I said earlier, by their fruit you shall know them.
So on the last note, sir, can you give advice to a lot of people watching you all over the world? I mean, Christians who are despaired, whose soul has been battered, whose emotional integrity has been broken, Christians who felt that it will rather is good for them to leave Christianity and join maybe Islam. Or okay, so before we ask that question, are you going to celebrate your 20 years anniversary, sir? Let me just ask that, sir. Your 20-year anniversary as a shepherd and as a priest is very, very predominant. And yesterday when they were doing the birthday for you here, and a lot of people were happy and they were saying a lot of good things about you, goodwill messages and all that. But how are you going to celebrate 20 years anniversary in the vineyards of the Lord, sir? With total honor, sir.
There's nothing so special about that. Only that on that day, you know, I will say thank God in a very special way. You know, I will celebrate Mass, and then, you know, together with my parishioners and friends, if we see water to drink, we just, you know, stay together and jubilate over it and drink. And that's just it.
A lot of people felt that you should be celebrated. That's 2 decades in the vineyard of God, and it's not a joke.
Well, I don't know, but I'm looking at it from my own point of view, because the most important thing that day is just thanking God for that special grace, even especially for the gift of life. You know, because the priesthood is a task in itself. And then being able to reach these 20 years and stay in good health of mind and body is something worth thanking God. So that is why on that very day we begin with the Holy Mass, and after the Mass, as I said, even if it is water we see, we just, you know, stay together as one family with my parishioners and friends, and then we continue this, thanking God from there too.
Before I ask the very last question, I want you to give a message to the politicians, because this interview will deliberately restrict it to just you and your mission in the parish, but it appears that the men of God of today are not telling the politicians the truth. We just want you to advise them, because today now you see a lot of politicians campaigning on bad road. They drive the best cars on bad road. They know the best boutique in the world. They dress very heavily, but the roads are bad. There is no water. Even the lights we use in the society, it comes at a very heavy cost. It appears that there is a kind of disengagement between the politicians and the electorate and all that.
Okay, ojo rọlẹ́ ni àbí? Ó lé wọn kúrò àbí? Ọ̀nà ọ̀dà wọn dẹ̀ ń campaign. Wọ́n dẹ̀ ń rìn lọ́nà tí ó dá, wọ́n dẹ̀ ń campaign.
For a second time, you can imagine. Look at how terrible. One of the part of Ejigbo. Very crazy road. Yet he's telling you that he wants a second time. You can see that we're in trouble. This is Moshalashi Street. Ilewe Ejigbo. That's the name of the road. It's crazy.
If you have an opportunity to tell them what you need to tell them, what are you going to tell the politicians to do to change the life of the masses in this country?
You know, when you talk about politicians, you are talking about leaders, of which they are also shepherds.
Oh, you mean they are also shepherds?
Yeah, because a shepherd is a leader. just like the first reading of last Sunday from the book of the prophet Jeremiah. We had Jeremiah condemning the attitude of shepherds. And in the
that's from Jeremiah 5, verse 26 to 31.
In the Old Testament, the word shepherds was applied to kings and rulers. Probably because David was a shepherd before he became a king. And now the word was also applied to clergy. But now you can see that it's not only applied to clergy, but to everyone. Parents are shepherds because they are the one to guide, to lead, to direct their children. A teacher is a shepherd. An administrator is a shepherd. Even a cook is a shepherd. There is no profession you cannot say that this word is not applied to, including politicians, because they are leaders. Not that they are politicians, because a politician is to do what? To lead. So he is a leader. And what I will tell politicians is that they should try and be leaders after the mind of Christ. And what does that mean? Jesus came and cared for the people. So as leaders, they should not be leaders for themselves, but for the people that they lead. The citizens, the masses, who even elected them into that position to represent them. But the problem now is that our politicians are now representing themselves. They are using that position to enrich themselves rather than caring for the people they're supposed to care for. And you see, that is what is causing the problem of Nigeria today. Greed, avarice, self-centeredness, which all these things you can see in our politicians. What can you say about politicians in Nigeria these days? Unlike during the time of Chief Sam Onuna Kambakwe, and that is the best politician I have ever met in Nigeria. And you can see people still talk about him today.
Sam Bakwe International Airport.
Bakwe. There's one road he constructed in Aba that is still that way today.
It didn't spoil, still the same.
Okigwe Road, go to Okigwe Road. But our politicians of these days, look at is it road that we have? Is it power supply? People are hungry. Is it health center, health facilities? Is it education? Which area are you going to mention? So I will advise, my advice for politicians is that let them do what they're supposed to do. You see, at times when we are just discussing or talking about some of these issues, I do tell myself, see, politicians are just there to, amass wealth, just to feed their pockets. Even if you must, fill your pocket with the national cake, try and do what you're supposed to do. Even if you are eating the money, nobody will care. But now, you are not giving people the basic amenities, and you are just there accumulating, which is very wrong. And that is what is bringing about the evil in the society now. Because people are now angry. Because they say that a hungry man is an angry man. No job anywhere. After your university education, you come out, you will carry file and be moving up and down. Look at Nigeria now, no industries. Are these not what they're supposed to be doing? Establishing industries so that people will be employed. Even some of them, even with the money they steal, they cannot use it to establish some of these things. They will carry them abroad. And the people here are suffering. Look at the youth. And when all these youths go into, armed robbery, kidnapping, Yahoo, and all the rest of them, at times you may not even blame them, but all those things are not good. That may not still be the way for you to survive. But you see that something just like Machiavelli, the philosopher, his principle is that the end justifies the means. So whatever you do to make money, to make it in life does not matter. Whether you kill or whether you do anything, it doesn't matter. But that's not a good one.
It matters spiritually.
Yeah, exactly. So our politicians have to really wake up. Because people have lost confidence in them. Yes. I remember when we were children growing up, if you hear that a governor is coming, let's say around this place, everybody will be excited. Everybody will come out on the road to wait to see the governor, to wave. You'll be waving and, But these days, say that even president is passing here. Nobody cares. People will be inside their house doing what they are doing. Except those sycophants and those who, because they are close to the government, because of what they get and something like that, they are the ones that we see. Yeah, exactly. That's what we have now in Nigeria. So politicians really have to wake up. They have to wake up. And I believe that if they have the interest of the people at heart, they will do what they are expected to do. But the problem is that they don't have the interest of the people at heart.
I see a lot of politicians, somebody that is dancing on TV, that just bought a G-Wagon, always dancing, traveling everywhere, denorizing everything, all sort of all sort of horrible behavior. Somebody jumping from PDP to APC, from APC to PDP, no ideology.
Why all those things?
Jumping from one party to
another. Exactly. I wish now they are putting, is it bill here and there now that maybe they will put a bill that if you're in APC, you cannot jump from APC to PDP. And something like that. And I know that people enter into politics in Nigeria because of what they get from it. Because let's just have it this way. If we say now, or maybe the House of Representatives will pass a bill by placing the president on a definite amount of money. Maybe the president will be paid 1 million naira. And we stick on that 1 million naira. And the governor will be paid 500. And maybe Senator, House of Assembly, 300. How many of them will rush into?
It will not be attractive again.
It will not be attractive because it's so much, they are being attracted because of what they get from it. And that is why you see, people can even kill to get to that seat, to get to that position. People can kill. People can do anything. See, in Nigeria now, how people are losing their life anyhow. And they don't even care. They're interested in 2023 presidential election. And that is to tell you, the life of the people does not matter to them any longer. They are just interested in their ambition, and which is wrong.
I've never seen this kind of season before in my life.
This is, I don't know. I don't know. That's not how it used to be in the past. So we pray that God will see us through. My prayer for our country, Nigeria, is for God, to turn the face of this country. But I know that there is nothing difficult or impossible for God to do. I know by the grace of God, we shall get there.
So let me put the youth also to you. You look at the society now. A lot of these youths, the level at which youth are joining Yahoo Plus, Yahoo. Some just died in our area the other day in Ota. They were coming from a public event in the night, and the vehicle just had an accident and they died horribly. The vehicle cut them into pieces. They were overjoyed. And you see, even mothers and fathers are supporting them. I handled a particular case recently whereby we arrested a boy that was disturbing our compound, and the mother and the father would never do anything. He was bringing Yahoo boys into the house to come and do all sort of nonsense, disturbing us, and the mother supported. The father is so dull, the mother is cantankerous and all that. What do you think is happening? We have Yahoo addicts, Lotto addicts, Ogogoro addicts among the youth. What can be done to stop all this? Because in our own age, at the age of 17, I've started working in the factory. I was busy chasing job, looking for what to do. But today now you see a lot of young people, they're on tattoo, they're on all sort of horrible hairdressing and all that. And they're just into all sort of obnoxious vices. How do we stop this, sir?
You see, some parents are even the cause of some of these problems. Because they want quick money, or they want to be influential. And when they see their children bringing money anyhow, they may not even ask questions. Where is this money coming from? Some parents don't even ask their children the kind of job they are doing. They are just interested in the money they are bringing. Just interested in the money they are bringing. And that's why you see some parents even support their children in this act of evil acts, in these evil acts they are doing. Because they are interested in that money they are bringing. And I know and I believe that to stop this kind of act or attitude among our youths, it has to begin from the family.
The family.
The family.
The lowest unit.
Remember that the parents are the first teacher, or the family is the first school in somebody's life. Because the foundation you give them in the family is what they will come out with in the society. So if they are given a good background from the family level, it will help them as they are growing in the society. So the parents are the ones to also educate their children about evils in the society, what they should do, what they should not do. Because I believe by the time they do that and inculcate that into the minds of their children, so when they are growing, they will know what is good and what is evil. I think that is the basic thing. That's the basic thing.
Do you have a voice, a word for also men of God who are busy, who have left the ecclesiastical, they've left the ecclesiastical order? It appears that the church itself is chasing shadow, chasing money, envelope, cathedral, dome, ark, private jet. And the children are also seeing it because their parents are running at a helter's cost to pacify the church, and the children also are running at a helter's cost to pacify their parents. So what's the role of most of these general overseers and ambiguous men of God who are mostly after material wealth instead of ecclesiastical discipline?
You see, our role as men of God is to win souls for Christ. and to inculcate moral education on the youth and the society at large. I think that should be a vital point. That moral education, because you see, there's a lot of moral decadence in our society these days. And if we men of God don't address this particular issue, it will really affect the society. And in fact, it has really affected the society, because we are now shifting from our main, from what we're supposed to teach the people. And that is why, and pursuing shadow or chasing shadow, as we said.
You can imagine a man of God doing seminar on how to become a millionaire. I mean, doing seminar on how somebody can generate dollars, or how somebody can do is it cryptocurrency, Pastor Ashimolu and some other people.
Exactly.
You can imagine that kind of a thing. Everything's about seminar on how to become millionaire, how to,
So, no, tell me, which one is better? To teach somebody how to become a billionaire or millionaire or whatever, or to teach somebody how to become a better person in life?
So simply is to teach somebody how to become a better person in life, sir.
And then
every other thing we follow.
Every other thing we follow.
That's the
Just
Bible.
as the Bible said,
yes.
Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and every other thing shall be added unto you.
Matthew 6:33.
Exactly. So when you teach somebody how to be a better person, every other thing will now follow, than teaching somebody how to be a billionaire and whatever. So look at that. You see, there's a very big difference. And these are the things that also cause this problem now. Now our young ones, now they want to make it here and now. They want to make it today, tomorrow. If not that, it's life. They have not started life. You understand that? So, and that has generated a lot of social evil, kidnapping, prostitution, armed robbery, and and things like that. So that's it.
On the very last note, sir, a lot of people watching you in London, UK, in Germany, in Canada, everywhere, in Nigeria particularly too. A lot of people have stopped going to church, and they're like, we have been disappointed with the rate at which we have been cheated in the church. Some people have been morally bruised, emotionally bruised, spiritually bruised, and all that. They've even used juju on some people. I mean, some people are highly jujunized and fufunized and all that. So what are you going to say to them as a man of God, as a man of the vineyard, and as an embodiment of the principle of Jesus Christ? What are you going to say to these people watching you in Italy, in Canada, in America, in London, up to Ghana, to Africa here? What are you going to tell them to do, who are in their cocoon lamenting because of what the church of God has done to them, which have made them to become homemakers instead of going to church on Sundays again?
My brother, you remember when you asked me about who is my role model? And I told you that Jesus Christ is my role model.
Yes, sir.
And he's the one I look up to. And in the same way, I encourage everyone to look up to Jesus as his role model. Not even looking up to me, but I know as a priest, people look up to me as a role model. Because they believe that from my way of life and my way of doing things, we also put them on the right track. You understand? And when they look up to that role model and they don't see what encourages them, what do you expect?
They become discouraged. They become discouraged.
Yeah, of course. They become discouraged. But I do tell people, you see, when you look up to Jesus, no matter even what the man of God is doing, you will not be discouraged. Like most times I do tell people, you are coming to the church. You are not coming to the church because of the priest. Because I know, don't be surprised that some people may come to church because of the priest, because we like this priest, and some people may not come to church because we don't like this priest. Are you coming to church for the priest? You are coming to church to worship your God. You are coming to church to have encounter with your God, not the priest. The priest is just like an instrument. Do you understand? So you are coming to encounter God, not the priest. So that is why such people should not really be discouraged like that if they look up to God himself and not to any human being.
Not Daddy G or Mommy G.
Exactly.
Or
and that is why,
or Papa or Mama.
Notwithstanding, we men of God must be very careful, because we are like a mirror to the people. Because don't be surprised that I used to tell people, it's not converting somebody is not by carrying Bible, you know, shouting on top of a voice, repent, repent, for the kingdom of God is close at hand, and that. The way you live your life can be a means of conversion. Somebody looking at you and say, I like the way this priest is living his life, this man of God is living his life, and what do I? The person may, don't be surprised, the person may even come to you and say, please, I want to be born again. Do you understand? Because the person has seen something in you that attracted him or her. But if we live our life in a different way, that is where the person, so there's nothing that will entice the person to say, if I'm going to church, what am I going to church to do? But mind you, we are going to church not to encounter any man of God, but to encounter God himself. In appreciation, I would like to first thank the Almighty God for the opportunity given to me to be his priest. Because if not God, I don't know what it would have been. I would also like to thank in a very special way my family, the family of late Chief Adolphus Okafor, and Lolo Ezinne Elizabeth Okafor, for supporting me during the course of my training to the priesthood. They did their best, they struggled, they suffered to see me through in my training to the priesthood. I also thank my brothers and sisters. They were very, very supportive. My relatives, they were very, very supportive. Despite the fact that, as I said, my journey to the priesthood was a mystery, you know. So, but they were there for me. Anytime I called on them, they answered me. Especially my elder brother, Honorable Engineer Uzoma Okafor. He has been so wonderful, even since after the death of my dad. He has been there for us, even supporting me too as a priest, and my other brothers and sisters. I also want to appreciate my late bishop, Most Reverend Dr. Anthony Ilono of the blessed memory, who ordained me, you know, and it was through him that I came to Lagos on mission. He was like a father to me. I pray that God will continue to grant his soul eternal rest. Amen. I also want to thank the Archdiocese of Lagos for accepting me to work in the diocese, in the Archdiocese of Lagos, beginning with His Eminence Anthony Cardinal Okoje. He was the one that received me in Lagos when I came here, and he was really a father. He was always there to guide, to direct, and also to admonish. I pray that God will continue to bless him, amen, strengthen him, amen, you know, guide him, amen, as he continues to also walk in the vineyard of the Lord. Amen. I also want to thank the present bishop, Most Reverend Dr. Alfred Adewale Martins. He has always been a father too. I want to appreciate him for also giving me that opportunity to continue to work in the Archdiocese of Lagos. And I must say that the Archdiocese of Lagos has really contributed a lot in my life as a priest. that since I started working in this diocese, I have had the opportunity to, had a lot of experiences that has really, made me strong, because working in a metropolitan city like this is different from working in the village. Do you understand? So you encounter a lot of things that will expose you, and things like that. And the Diocese of Lagos has given me that wonderful opportunity. I also want to thank my brother priests who have always been there for me, in the way of caring, showing their love, advising, and all the rest of them. I can't mention them one by one because there are plenty. I also thank the religious, the reverend sisters, and especially my aunt, who is a reverend sister, Reverend Sister Joachim and Anne Parish. She works in the US. She has been so wonderful to me. And I also thank my cousin priest, Reverend Father Pascal Chiman and Reverend Father Ngozi Abiamere. People used to say that we are from the lineage of priests. I don't know, because you see, when it comes to that family, the elder sister to my father, has a priest. My father, had one. My father, senior a reverend sister, and then a reverend sister, the one that came after the reverend sister, the son is also a priest. And we have in one of our in-laws, the family of Abiamere, we have about 5 priests there in that family. So I don't know. So people have been asking me, how come this kind of things? I don't know. It's God though. It's God. So I want to thank them all for being there for me. And I want to thank my parishioners, especially my present parishioners now, the parishioners of SS Joachim and Anne, and our station churches, St. Livinus and Immaculate Heart, for welcoming me and accepting me to work with them in the parish here. I pray that God will continue to give me that zeal as I have made up my mind to win souls for Christ, for Him, in this parish, and always to be there for us so that we may also make the parish great. And in the other parishes I have worked, since I came to the Diocese of Lagos, St. Mary's Ajegunle, St. Peter's Ejigbo, St. Michael's Lafiaji, St. Catherine Alakuko, and St. Cecilia Ijaniki. I want to thank all these parishes for their contributions, towards my growth to the priesthood, because they also contributed a lot, to my life. So I appreciate all the parishioners and all the people of God all over the world. I want to thank them and pray that God will continue to grant us that grace of perseverance as we continue our journey, our spiritual journey on earth here, so that at the end of our life here on earth, at the end of this our journey, all of us will be among those that God will say, "Come, my dear children, and inherit the kingdom I have really prepared for you." Thank you, and God bless you.
On this note, I think we've been able to find it very, very interesting. It has been so insightful. I want to thank this great man of God who has also spoke to us like a lecturer. He has been able to relate with us in the highlights of the Bible and in the very, very insightful doctrines of Jesus Christ himself. Reverend Father THADDEUS Okafor, Nwachinemere 1. We want to thank you for this time, and we want to ask you that next time that we relate to you through your secretary, your church, I hope you are not going to make it difficult for us to see you again, sir.
No. Our door is always open.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much.
Well, it has been a very wonderful day, and this is just the second day after his birthday, which took place July 19, yesterday, and his 20th anniversary in the royal priesthood of Jesus Christ. We want to thank our Father in the Lord, Reverend Father THADDEUS Okafor, Nwachinemere 1, and the parish priest in charge of SS Joachim, the parish priest in charge of SS Joachim and Anne in Meiran area of Lagos State, Southwest Nigeria, West Africa. Till the next time that we'll be meeting a great man of God, and we'll bring them to your notice here. We want you to let the truth continue. Let the good news continue. Goodbye.